Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Miyuki and this is Let's Make Art, and we letter a new project every week. And we are getting more in the holiday spirit and we are making wood ornaments. So I don't have the final product here, we are just going off of the reference sheet that comes in your guys' box. But this one we're going to be drawing and painting on wood ornaments. So if you don't have our subscription box, we also have a kit where you can get this. It's a very fun one to have for the kids to do along with you, make some ornaments to decorate and have a little family tradition. So I can't even remember, do I start with the supplies or steps first?
Excellent question. I'm glad you asked.
Do you know?
I don't have an answer for you.
I'm gonna start with the supplies. So I am using paint pens for this one. I won't be using any markers because, and I'm gonna explain this now, just for anyone who's watching the beginning. Paint pens are great if you're ever lettering on something that isn't paper. So if it's a different type of surface. So that's why we use it on our acrylic sheet one. We're gonna be using it on wood. So it's a great tool to have in your toolbox. So even if you don't have our box or a kit, maybe grab a paint pen. It's a great thing to have in your arsenal. So I'm gonna be using two different ones. I need to start that one to show you guys, but I'm using the gold. This is the Socket of America one, the fine. I'm using white, which you guys won't be able to see, but for layout purposes, I'm using white. This is the Posca one, the 3M bullet shaped. And then I'm also going to be using acrylic paint. So if you notice on the back of these are raw, not the back. On the front of these it's blue paint, so we're gonna paint on the background of it. So if you want to grab, if you have any other colors of acrylic paint, you can use whatever you have. And then I'm going to use some string to tie and then a wide brush. I don't know where to put this for layout sake, a wide brush to paint. If you have a round, you can also use that, but that's just easier for me to use. Okay, those are supplies. The steps. So there are 5 steps. There is a practice worksheet that I helped create so that you guys can get started and get practice with. This, if you don't have, is on our website at letsmakeart.com for free. We want you guys to learn and we want this to be accessible so you can learn with us along the way. So that's that. The second step is this is another one that's kind of a funny different shape, circles. Those are all outlines of ornaments. So this is for you to practice. Then step 3 is we're going to paint the background of a few of them with the acrylic paint. Step 4 is I'm going to use the paint pens to actually paint on it. And then step 5 is you're going to string and be proud of what you made, because this is something that you can hang and everyone in your family and whoever's coming can see. Okay, so step 1, to practice. These are just some words in the holiday spirit that I thought you might want to letter on your ornaments. You can choose if you want to start to letter with your paint pen. I'm just going to use a pencil for right now. And so what's happening on these ones is I wanted to show you, because this is something that gets asked a lot, is how to do bounce lettering. And this is something that you don't have to do. I just want to show this to give you guys different ways that you can letter on your own. So by breaking it down simply, what's happening and how I suggest to start is start by first writing your word, whatever word you're drawing, and have all of your lowercase letters hit this middle line. So it's either called the waistline or the X height. Have it all hit that, in addition to your letters hitting the bottom of your baseline. So the baseline's the bottom line. And this is how we were taught in school how to letter. If you want to think about how to give it a little bit more personality, kind of play with the look of it, what you're going to do is think about either bringing some letters lower or just bringing some letters up higher. So that's kind of creating this bounce because it's not having a solid line, a straight line. So what I did here was I just played with making the A a little bit higher. And then what you can also play with is, if you think about this P ended right here, what if I stop my P right there on that one? And maybe I make my Y a lot lower just to exaggerate it. So those are really tiny ways that you can experiment. And actually a pencil is probably a good way to start to gain that muscle memory. So then the next one that I'm showing you is that this is the same thing where this is on the baseline. However, for this one, you'll notice that the L and the D come down below these lines. So what I'm thinking about is the end of the letters. So when I'm drawing this, instead of stopping right here, I'm going to go a little bit further and extend below it. So there's not a, I wish I could give you a rule on every other letter. It's not necessarily that. If you think about it though, you don't want all of them to come below the baseline because it'll look a little droopy. So I'm sure you don't want your letters to be a little droopy, a little sad.
Could be kind of fun though, you know, just like a droopy holiday.
It feels
You're
like
full of foods. You're just
that's you after you eat.
Oh, definitely. I'm eating pumpkin pie right now.
Oh, actually, yeah, I should have called him out. He's totally eating pumpkin pie right now on set. But so that's, I mean, that maybe that's a totally different style. I think of maybe if you have your letters looking like they're dripping, or if, yeah, you're full. That's a different style. But for this one, you're thinking about bouncing. If you think about a ball bouncing, it goes up and it goes down. It doesn't just, all of them don't just stay low. So I'm not going to make my I droop. I'm going to do my next letter and make the D come a little bit lower. So then maybe on this one, well, so that's why on the Y it already comes low, so you don't have to think about it. So when I'm looking at that you can see why this looks different than that. And all I really changed was the L and the D basically. So then another way that you can think about it, I'm just trying to give you different ways that you can think about it, is maybe instead of thinking about the baseline or the bottom line, if that is too confusing for you, why don't you experiment with coming above this middle line? So on this example, if I were to draw Mary and all of it, I realize that might be in the way, all of this hits that middle line and all of this hits this bottom line, what I'm going to do is, what if I just bring a couple of the strokes, so for example on here, the start of the M, up higher than the X height or the middle line or the waistline. So then this on the R, I'm going to add a little fun loop to it. Oh, we haven't said this in a while. Who is that character?
I don't think the R is the character.
Oh, is the
R
F.
is the top knot. The F is Miss Clavel.
That's what it was. This is me when I have a top knot then.
100%.
The R. So if you can see how by just extending a few parts of it. So this is a great way if you feel like my lettering is, that's just the way I write. I want to encourage you and know that these are very little steps. One, keep going at it. Lettering is not something that will come right off the bat. However, you already have such a great foundation, so I want to empower you to remember that. That's my little pep talk for you. And then the next two, I'm just gonna, you guys can pause and do it on your own, but it's the same thing, but all of my letters are angled. So I left you some lines to help that you can draw it at that angle. We also have a beginner lettering series that's called Angle Lettering that will go over that a little bit more if you need some more help with that. So enjoy, take your time, practice, have fun with that. Now, when you are going to your design phase. So I say this a lot and it helps me to get any ideas out of my head onto paper first. So you can call these thumbnail sketches, you can call them mini sketches, whatever you'd like. But if you don't have this, you can also just take your wood ornaments and outline it, or just draw a circle. So think of this as your time to play. Maybe write on your scratch paper what quotes you'd like. Keenan, are there any holiday seasonal phrases that you like? So I did Happy Holidays.
I always loved 'Tis the Season.
Oh, yeah.
White Christmas, because it's one of my favorite movies.
Yes, I love that movie. All of the music.
Joy to the World, because it's a good song and a good phrase.
Okay, those are good ones.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll do all those. So you guys can see these are the ones that I had originally. So I did Happy Holidays, I did Seasons, Greetings, and then I can do this one too, but it's a great one if you have a family, either for yourself or it's a great little gift to put just the and then blank family. So I did Sarah's family, the Cray family. So when you are doing this, if you think about this amount of space that you're working with, do you want it to take up the entire, did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were making a noise, I spelled that wrong.
I think you did a good job.
Tis this, tis? Where's the apostrophe? Is there an apostrophe?
I'm glad you asked.
Can you look that up? Okay, joy to the world. So joy, I think of, I want joy to be bigger So maybe I will make, let's see, joy really big, to the, and then world can also fill.
The apostrophe is before the T.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, joy to the world. Then, so another way that you can think about it, okay, maybe you want world to be the biggest, or you draw a world, United States, and you draw a world, that's a very sketchy world, and you decide, okay, I want to left justify all my letters, so let's pretend I have a line here, joy to the world. So it helps to get all these ideas out and to experiment with what you like. Let me do the last one, White Christmas. So maybe this one I'm going to have it angled. Let's see, I'm going to curve this. So this is just a flourish. I'm adding white. Do this one in all script. Maybe I'll add dots around that one so it feels like that. Okay, then I also want to show you to do a family one. So I sometimes tend to like to angle them. So if this is my ornament, and actually would help maybe to have your circle right here if you'd like, or your hole, is make it easier for yourself. Don't try and make it perfectly straight. And if you angle it slightly, that way no matter which way it hangs, you won't have to look in and be like, gosh darn it, I should have done that straight, I messed up. You did not mess up if you just help yourself angle it a little bit. I think
That's genius.
I saw you in the back be like, yeah.
It's a great, I'm gonna angle all my words.
So if it helps draw yourself some guidelines again like I did on this one, and I'm gonna write the Cray, insert your own last name, family. So
I don't think H's and will fit on there very easily.
If you have a long last name, what you do is, I've done this in the, I was explaining this in the fall letters project, is you need to think about, if I were to write his last name, A-I-T,
Yep.
C-H-I, I was like, what? There's an extra I, but it's right there. Okay, so if I were to write it, that's how naturally I might write it. So what I need to do is I need to think about squishing his letters a little bit more. And so I'm gonna play with it and I'm gonna make them a little bit longer so that they have some personality.
Big fan of personality.
You have a great personality.
Thank you.
H is in, and you can fill it in. Maybe if I were to do this, I just fill all the space. And then I'm trying to think. So if I were to do family in a script, the Y would kind of come low. So I might just do his all in all caps.
What if you did the word clam?
Boom. I like that. Would you capitalize it? Yes. I think so. You guys will know, so I break rules and I don't. Sometimes I capitalize a word in the middle of a sentence just because I like the way that letter looks more. So, oh, I actually like that one. That's fun. Okay, so this is your time to practice. Have fun with that. Now, game on. We are going to do your final ornaments. You have 3 wood ornaments. I don't remember how thick they are. We got these for you. We sourced them from a very sweet family that I have been emailing, and they are so great, and I asked for them not hole punched, a hole to be drilled inside so that you guys can easily hang them. They're beautiful. You can even paint on both sides if you like. But I'm going to leave one of them blank, and then I'm going to paint on the other 2. So I'm just giving a little bit of this is just acrylic paint. You also could use gouache if you have that. Acrylic paint is great. We also sell these in different colors, so you can get that if you need. So let's see, which one? Do these 2. So when I'm doing this is I'm just gonna paint, and you can decide how you want to do your edges. Do you want to have a little bit of white showing? Do you want to have a bigger white border showing, or go all the way to your edge? Is personal preference. And what I found works for me is why I like to have a wide brush is if you'll notice, I still have paint on all of here, but what I'm doing is I'm going to the edge here and just circling around. So I found for me that's an easier way to get a crisp line rather than kind of going up and like that, obviously because this is also flat and this is a curved shape. But that's just a little tip that I found that's worked. Okay. So we will actually have to let this dry. Oh, actually I'll draw on the other ones. I'm just gonna do one with paint and then draw on the other two. So I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit. I'm gonna design on these two. You can also, actually, if you don't have paint pens, I just thought about this, you can use a black Sharpie. Do I have one here? Yep. Actually, I'm gonna test this for you guys, thinking about it. I think a black Sharpie, the reason why I just kind of second guessed myself was I wanna make sure it doesn't bleed. So that's the thing with any new materials that you're using. It's helpful to test things out. I'm gonna make this the back. So this is real time me testing out. Yep, so we're good. So my worry was that because wood is a little bit more porous, that some materials, inks might seep into it. So if you use watercolor, that will seep through, right?
No idea.
I believe it will because it's more liquid. We could test that out too.
We could test it.
We could test that out. I'm gonna do it on the spot. I believe it will. Markers, let's see, if you have a Tombow marker. It works okay. It doesn't bleed as much as I thought, if you guys can see that. So you can even do this with marker if you have that.
Water for the watercolor.
I was like, oh, thanks for getting me water.
That too.
So while he's getting that, we can just put it on here. Duh.
Yeah,
Never mind. Thanks.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Black. Okay. Let's see. So this is black. This is our dandelion black watercolor and a little brush. Oh, yeah, I do need some water. Oh, am I gonna spill? Okay.
You want to bring those ornaments down a little bit?
Yeah. So this is me testing with watercolor if it will work. If you don't have too much water, it's actually not bad either. Huh, that's great. Wow, so you guys can use any supplies that you have. This will be great. We can share this in both groups then, the watercolor group too, that they can design on it as well. Okay, I would just be careful if you are using liquid watercolors, just don't add too much water because I feel like if this was really watery, yeah, it would seep in a little bit more. So, fun, cool little experiment and perfect timing because this is almost dry. Okay, so I am going to use my pencil. So you can go right off the bat and you can design it or just go for whatever material you're using and you can just paint directly. I'm going to, because I feel more comfortable with this, I'm going to use my pencil and just sketch this out. So if let's see, the other tip that I can give you is when my hand, you guys just saw and I noticed this, is when if I'm writing on here, let's see, if I write tis the season, my hand is right here and it feels really awkward because it's just a little bit levitated. So the trick that I found is that because also you have enough ornaments, I'm going to put this here and use this as my stool.
Stool.
Because it helps me. So then it's at the same level. 'Tis the season. I want to make, I'm going to switch this up a little bit. 'Tis. Okay, just want to make that a little bit bigger. Oh, I can do your one hand here, Keenan. because this is a wider, if you look, ornaments are all different, or wood is all different sizing. So I can do the bigger one here for you. So I'm just going to sketch this out in pencil. And you can also, as you saw, you can erase if you need to. The H is in. I'm going to change this up. I really liked the way this looked. So if you guys can see, this is another kind of learning lesson or a teachable moment, is you'll notice that there's more space in between here and here. So it's kind of the opposite. In his letters, because his last name's so big, I had to make the letters more squished. So not only are they skinnier, but the spacing in between is a lot smaller. Whereas this one, because the and clan are such small words, this is also a style preference, but I just extended it. So to do this, because I know this is something that people have also asked, you'll notice is this is a great example. After the H right here, instead of coming straight up to do the E right here, I made this a more open shape. So it's curving down like that. The same here. You'll notice it's the same type of U shape. That's just a little bit wider. So that's how you can create more space within your letters and create more personality with that. This is just that spot's a little bit wet. So you can also do your lettering or your pencil sketching on here. I'm trying to think which one. I'm gonna do White Christmas. I'm gonna angle this a little bit. So I'm gonna do this White Christmas and I'm gonna do this in white so you guys can see what that looks like. Okay. Now that that is all set up, I'm going to use my paint pens. So these are the ones, yeah. Okay, so you have two different paint pens that were included in this, in your box or in your kit. They both, if you can see, are off-white. When I'm done, it will look like this. So when you first open your paint pen, know that it is not the right color on purpose. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake them both. So the paint is inside. So the beauty, like I said, of paint pens is that you can paint on top of different surfaces. So you have to shake them for about, I'd say 10 to 20 seconds. So what you're doing is you're mixing the ink around. This is a great test. So the Posca, I believe we found is, it will come out quicker than the Pen Touch. So what I mean by that is I'm pushing down into my paper, so I'm pushing pressure into it so that the tip of it goes into the paint pen, and I'm waiting for the paint to start to seep through. Oh, wow. Never mind. Side-by-side test.
Hello.
Did you expect that?
No.
Remember last time Pen Touch took me so much longer? Wow, okay. So I'm surprised. It's hard to kind of see, but if it doesn't work for you right off the bat, so you saw I held it for a little while. If it doesn't work right off the bat, feel free to give it a little shake.
Shake and shimmy.
A little shake and shimmy again. Have fun. And then press a little bit more. You might want to pump a few times. If you ever find that your paint pen explodes on you, I saw that there was someone in our group that said that this happened to them with the gold one. Know that why I said these are a little bit more friendly and easier, I'd say. Know that this brand, excuse me, is a little bit more, I don't want to say annoying, but frustrating. However, I absolutely love this pen because of the beauty of it. So sometimes beauty is pain and you gotta work through it. So know that it's not you. If that ever happens and it gets clogged up, wipe it off and then start all over again. Don't freak out if you get, well, first of all, I would either allow paint to get everywhere, including your clothes, and then second, just by having a piece of paper, a scratch piece of paper, so that you can be okay with paint marks getting everywhere. But if that happens to you, wipe it off and then just start again. I totally pulled this out. Wow, these ones are double-sided too.
Oh, nice.
We discovered, wow, okay guys.
That's
I
awesome.
totally thought it was just the Posca pens that were like that. This is also double-sided. So what that means is if this tip ever gets annoying, you can flip it. I have never read if that's actually what it's for. However, I'm sure that is, because why would they make both of them a bullet tip? Okay, fun, happy accident. Now that I have my paint pens all set up, I'm going to paint with them. So, I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna do white in white, and I'm gonna do Christmas in gold.
Perfect.
So, when you're doing this, I'm gonna have my stool right here, and I'm simply tracing. You did the hard part. What's the best angle for them to see this at? I'm simply tracing. When you're doing this, if the white isn't as opaque as you'd like, just go over it again. And I'm actually gonna go over it again. I'm gonna make this a little bit thicker. So this is my foligraphy where I'm making the downstrokes a little bit thicker. So then it just pops a little bit more.
One thing that might help if doing this project, things keep sliding around. There are the drawer mats.
Oh,
Like a rubber
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That would be great to do this on, because then it won't slide around
Yeah, because
while you paint on it.
that's a great pro tip. Good job, Keenan.
Thank you.
Okay, so you'll notice it has a little bit, and maybe I'm gonna let it dry. So it came on really white and opaque. It kind of starting to seep in a little bit, so it's turning a little bit light blue. So I might do one more coat after, but I'm gonna do Christmas. And it's interesting because I drew this really quickly. Let's see, do I wanna make this block? I'm going to switch it up. And I want to make my oh, I should have waited. It's all good. If this happens to you, it's okay. And whose white Christmas is ever perfectly perfect? That was just a snowstorm that came in.
Whoever has a white Christmas that's perfect.
In the movie. Okay, so I'm going to just mix it up. I want to actually make, now that I see this, I want to do my block lettering. So this pen is interesting. When I drew this, I don't know if you guys can tell on the spot, but it comes out a lot quicker and it feels more saturated. So not only when you look at it, you can tell it is a lot brighter, which is again why I love this paint pen, but it just comes out quicker. So know that when you're painting, if it freaks you out a little bit, just understand that they're different pens. Each brand is different, so know that you're gonna get a different result. I'm gonna thicken this up just a little bit. But I love how that pops.
Blue and gold.
Oh, that looks so cool. Okay. Now, when you have the raw ones, I will show you this on the spot so you can see. The gold, in some cases, can work as far as what angle you're looking at it. Just know that because it's such a similar color, can they see that? It kind of blends into it. So it doesn't have that same effect of it popping, even though it's a beautiful gold metallic, it just doesn't pop as much. So if you want to use gold and you're really determined to use gold on your raw wood, because it's a beautiful combination, I would just thicken up your letters. So make it a little bit thicker, give it a couple coats, so that way it still pops. I'm gonna do the other one in white, so I'm gonna thicken this up a little bit. And then what I'm thinking is, I'm gonna test this out. Oh, fun. Whoa. There is blue from when I was painting on the blue one. Can they see that?
Yes, they can.
Okay. I'm just trying to give my lettering something to pop off of. It's still kind of hard to see for me. I'll keep going. Let's see. I'm trying to improvise on the spot. How does it look from up top? Do you agree that it's hard to see, or is that just from my angle?
It's hard to see.
Yeah, it is, right?
It's hard to see on the top, but I've got it on the side angle. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that looks, well, I think it looks better, but it's so shiny, so it's kind of hard to see it.
It is very shiny. So I might just experiment on the spot. Who knows how this is gonna look. So I'm just using a Sharpie and it kind of seeps into it. Whoa, that has a interesting effect. I'm gonna go with it. So I just went over with my Sharpie. And there's parts of it that are black. Whoa, that looks crazy.
It's cool.
That looks cool, yeah. Okay. So this is the fun part, experiment. Maybe if you really don't like this and this is the mess up one, paint on the back. Or if you really don't like it, paint over it with your acrylic and then it will disappear. Okay, so because I know that that is what the gold looks like, let me erase this slightly, and I'm gonna use white for season. So because the reason why my brain just shook it and I didn't even have to say anything was my brain shakes it just to get it going again because I wanna make sure that it's been sitting here for maybe
2 minutes.
2 minutes. But I like to have the full, I was gonna say full breath of it. I don't think that's the right terminology. That's
Full breath.
the full amount that it can get. So that's why I just shake it and I'll pump it to get it going again. And well, so because it does have a little bit of blue from the paint, I want this to just be white. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scribble on here to get that off. Oops. Here's the interesting thing. Can you guys see what's happening? It's disappearing. So it didn't disappear on here because it had a solid coat underneath it that was buffering essentially. It was an in-between layer. Whereas this is what I was saying, which I was concerned about with the other materials, is that it might seep into it. So it's okay that that's happening. All you need to do is if you want it to be a more opaque white, is you're going to have to do a few layers on here.
It's like your primer coat on your walls.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is exactly it. Thank you, Keenan.
You're welcome.
So I'm gonna have to do a few coats of this. And, okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to finish designing some of these. I'm going to play with them a little bit more. I'm going to add some details to this, and then I will see you back at the end. Zoom.
Yes.
Okay guys, so you saw we zoomed on. I kind of did some playing with it. I also added, for this one, I added some dots and some snowflakes because it's a white Christmas and it pops really well. And this one was a little bit of problem solving. You saw before that it wasn't really my favorite to begin with, but I added some shadow to the season and then I added a little holly. I had a red marker, so I just added some red berries. And then on Keenan's last name, I studded him up and added some gold dots to it. So After that, you will have some string, and all you're gonna do, I don't have scissors with me, so it's all good. All you do is string, thank you. You have so many different colors in this set, and you're gonna string and enjoy. So I've done this before when I had we had a friend's holiday, like a Friendsgiving type of thing, and I had a bunch of these smaller ones, and I actually just wrote their name on each one of them. So they were my gift tags. So they can double also as if you combine this and then the other project, if you have smaller wood slices, or even these ones are really great too. But there's so many different ways that you can use this. I am so excited. I'm excited for the holiday season to happen. These are a great gift to do, like I said, either with your kids or to give as gifts. So I hope you enjoyed this. We have a lettering group called Let's Make Art Lettering on Facebook that you can join if you're not a part of. We have an Instagram called Let's Go Make Art. And whenever you're watching this, I hope you're warm and cozy and enjoying time with loved ones. Thanks, guys.